Let me get my little tray. Look, this is my little tray from Preston that I get with all my floats in. Most of them are my samples. We'll start off with the Chianti, which is a famous float in England. This float was, when I first got sponsored by Preston 20 years ago, this float was out a long time before that. I used to use these floats 30 years ago. So this is a Chianti. All the slim range floats come in 4B10s up to 4B16s, because we think that float, there's no point making that float any bigger. It's pointless. It doesn't work properly. So we do it in the sizes that we think this float works at its best. So we got a Chianti there. The antenna, which is made of cane. There's not that many floats on the market anymore that actually use cane for an antenna. But cane is very heavy, and if you're roach fishing, delicate roach fishing with casters, you know, pinkies, squats, little bits of worm, and you're catching roach and very shy biting fish, the Chianti is an amazing float. All the float range, the actual body is rower cell, so it's a rower cell, very dense foam, mega strong. So, and the great thing about rower cell is when they make the body, the float takes the same shot. So you could make this float up, and you literally use the same shotting pattern identical to the last float you made. So they're very, very, very perfect on what it says. Carbon stem, because a lot of people use these floats on the drop fishing. They even use these floats for hemp fishing when they're catching roach on the River Avon, Evesham, which is really, really popular hemp venue. They use the Chianti. It's been about for longer than what you have, Baptiste. This float was about when you weren't even born. So great float. That's called the Chianti. We got there and move on to a float called an F1 fine. Exactly the same body, rower cell, exactly the same shot in again, 4B10 right up to 4B16, but this has a 1.2 hollow bristle. So it's great to see. Hollow bristles, I'm not sure in France, but in England, they're very, very popular now. They have been for a long time. But on these floats now, we've got a new eye. This is called the Dura eye. You cannot break these floats. You cannot pull the eye out. To pull that eye out, you would have to break the float in half. So mega strong. This has a carbon stem again, but the difference between that and the Chianti is the eye, which is a Dura eye, and the 1.2 hollow bristle. These floats are fantastic for, again, shy biting fish like roach, skimmers. I actually used this float last week, and I used it for lift bites. Because the antenna is very fine, you can have your float like that, and you get a lift bite like that because it's very fine antenna. They are brilliant for skimmer fishing. So for you, Baptiste, for bloodworm, pinkies, over ground bait, a fantastic float. Fish perfectly. So that's the F1 fine. This is my favorite float because it's the same as the F1 fine. Dura eye again, real strong, same rower cell body, but a 1.5 hollow bristle. This is probably, for me, covers me for so much of my fishing, whether I'm fishing for carp, whether I'm fishing for the Carasio, F1s, carbon stem again. So if you want to, you can fish it on the drop in the smaller sizes. Just an all-round great float. I got loads of these tied up, and I tie all these rigs, this sort of float, Baptiste, from lines from 010 right up to 017. Okay. So I use the same float for roach fishing, for F1 fishing, and big weights of carp. So it's a great float. You can't break them because of the new Dura eye. They are literally unbreakable, but they fish perfectly. So that's the new the F1 maggot. Sorry, that's an F1 maggot. Then we do a float called a F1 pellet. The only difference between this and the F1 maggot is that you've got a nickel titanium wire. So you, again, 1.5 hollow bristle, Dura eye, same rower cell body, but this looks like carbon, but it's actually nickel titanium wire. Some people love, when they're fishing with soft pellets, they love, and it does make a difference. When you drop this float in, it does follow the bait straight down. So when you're fishing with soft pellets, I'm not sure how much soft pellet you do in France, but you probably do a little bit on some venues. For Caraccio in fish like that with soft pellet, they are the perfect float because they do follow. You can actually follow it down like that. So exactly the same as the F1 maggot, apart from nickel titanium wire stem. And then last but not least, we've got the carp pellet. Now the carp pellet is the same as the F1 pellet, apart from a 2mm hollow bristle. So when you're fishing with bigger baits like corn, big worms, baits like that, or if your eyesight's not great and you want a 2mm hollow bristle, they're very popular in England. Thicker tip floats are more about when it's a little bit warmer and they're fishing with bigger baits, you know, like maize and luncheon meat and baits like that. But stainless, not stainless steel, nickel titanium wire again, because some people just prefer that metal stem float. So we give them the option. So great range of floats. But for me, the F1 maggot is the all-rounder for like roach, skimmers, and things like that. And then we have a new range. We might be having a new range, Baptiste, coming out shortly. Yeah. But we can't say a lot about that. And that's about it, really, for the range of them float. Oh, we got the carp floats.
The carp ones.
Yeah, the commercial range.
Yeah, they are very famous in France.
Commercial range. That's like, they're the ones that I've been tying up recently. They're called carp shallow. There's a one there called an edge. And again, they all got the Dura eyes on. I mean, these floats are all tied to heavier lines. These are about carp fishing. So if you're carp fishing with heavier lines, there's a range in there called a diamond. We have we got the edge, which is a real like 2.5 hollow bristle. All these floats have got fiberglass, they're fiberglass stems, so you can't break them. The only float in the range which has got a nickel titanium, which is a dibber, which is for sort of fishing very, very shallow. But the carp, that commercial carp range there, will cover you. I got a diamond. Where have I got me diamonds? I've not got me diamonds out, Baptiste. But the commercial carp range, very, very strong. Again, up to sort of, I think we do the inter diamonds up to 4B 18, I think, Baptiste, are they?
Yes.
So for most commercial fishing, they're the perfect sizes. But like we said, we got something new coming out next year, which Baptiste has been working on, which will cover us for every sort of style of fishing.